My biggest fear would be when the first comes and I don't get the rent.
I found that my tenant had dumped concrete down my toilet. Can you believe Fair Housing fined me $5,000 for that?
How do you onboard your tenants? What do you do?
I don't even know if I do it right.
If you're a landlord, don't just rent, rent perfect. The Rent Perfect podcast with property expert and private investigator, David Pickron.
Well, hello, joined here with Scott. Scott, not going to ask you how you're doing today. I'm just going to come out of the chute and just tell you to just shut your mouth, okay? Wait a minute. This is a podcast. We do a lot of talking on the podcast, right? That doesn't really work on a podcast, does it?
No. I'm looking at two of us, and I know Yellowstone Season 5 came out this week, but man, you and I are repping the West.
There
today.
you go. We're Arizonans, and it's below 60 degrees. It's cold. It's cold. Go ahead and laugh at us. That's okay. Hey, please like and subscribe to us and comment and let us know how we did, or if you agree, disagree, or what you'd like us to hear. Hey, Scotty, you seem to me like as you grew up, you're like a Perry Mason guy or kind of like a courtroom drama
I love courtroom
guy.
dramas.
Yeah, and I just have a question for you. Why does the person who's accused ever take the stand? Why don't they ever stand up and go, I didn't do it?
Yeah, it's called self-incrimination, right? They usually will try and tell their story, but they always say more than is required.
Okay. So it puts them at danger when they speak.
Absolutely.
Let the attorneys take care of it.
Yep.
Okay. This is a parallel to a topic I want to talk today, and I actually want this to be a very short podcast because the podcast is about shutting up, not saying more than you have to, right? I had a client call me last week, a little upset, had a complaint filed by Fair Housing, on her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was filed because as she was raising the rent on her tenant, she started giving reasons why she was raising the rent. I would tell you there is no reason. You need to give a reason to raise rent, okay?
Now, these reasons were innocently given.
Well, I think human nature says it's hard for me to say, hey, I'm going to raise your rent, and then just leave it there. It's, hey, I'm going to raise your rent. My taxes are going up. Cost of living's going up. And
utilities.
I don't really want to do this, but I have to. And for some reason, we get in this position where we want to explain to people why we're raising rent. Now, out in the common world, what would happen if every time prices increased at the grocery store, there was a commercial on that explained why Mars candy bars had to raise their rent, right? I mean, M&Ms are now going to go up 50% because, red number 3 dye is gone up in price, and the cost of peanuts. And, I mean, the reality is no one has to explain why their rates go up. It's just business.
And right now everything's going up, so you don't really need to explain a whole lot.
It does. So, really, I want this to be a short podcast to prove the point that shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
No reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason to say more than you need to. And that goes when you're onboarding someone. That goes when you're raising their rent, like we talked about. That goes when you're dealing with any legal issue, when you're dealing with fixing any parts of the home. Just less is more. Don't have to have that conversation. And until next time, continue to rent perfect. You shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.